Hello there. My name is Monica Burns, and welcome to Technology Essentials in Education. Today's episode is titled 5 Low or No Cost Tech Tools That Can Save Teachers Time with Richard Colosi. Now, I'm excited to chat with Rich today. I've known him for more than a decade. He's a fellow Apple Distinguished Educator and an Instructional Technology Specialist for a K-12 district in Rochester, New York. So he hears from lots of educators about what they're working on, what they're excited about, and what problems they need help solving, and is a fantastic resource for today's conversation. Now, if you followed along with my work for a while and you've attended the NICE conference in New York, then you might recognize Rich. He is the one who organizes the app Smackdown presentations that I've participated in on and off for a number of years now. And so I knew he would be the perfect person for this conversation. Let's go ahead and dive in. This episode is brought to you by Jotform. Jotform provides an all-in-one solution to streamline administrative tasks, enhance community engagement, and foster innovation. Using their no-code drag-and-drop forms and workflows, your teams can securely collect and store data, automate tasks, and collaborate on team resources. Educational institutions are also eligible for a 30% discount on Jotform Enterprise. Head to their website to learn more. Jotform.com/enterprise/education. Welcome to the podcast. I am so excited to chat with you today about some low or no cost tech tools that can save teachers time. But before we jump into all of that, can you share a bit with listeners? What is your role in education? What does your day-to-day look like?
Sure. So my name is Rich Colosi. I serve as an instructional technology specialist for a K-12 school district here in Rochester, New York. And I kind of am like a bridge between the technical infrastructure and the boots on the ground classroom experience. So my day is really never the same. It could be co-teaching a lesson on digital citizenship to leading district-wide professional development or workshops on AI integration. Sometimes it can be a regional panel planning something for the teachers in our region. So my day kind of never looks the same. And one of my roles is really finding the right digital tools to reach every student, whether they're in kindergarten or senior year, as well as some of the professionals and the leaders in our district. And outside of my work, I'm the founder of the YouTube channel EdTech Hustle. This is where my side hustle kind of meets my passion for content creation, which is why I called it EdTech Hustle. It's kind of like a side project that I know a lot of us teachers kind of do outside of our class day. And since I've been doing this, it's really been a great way, I think, to interact with teachers all around the world. So I try to kind of take some of the websites and innovations and some of the concepts that I come through and translate them into practical, actionable tips for teachers to use. So our main audience is educators, but I've got a lot of like content creators, podcasters, really anyone who loves technology. So between my role and my side job with EdTech Hustle, my day is kind of like a constant cycle of learning, creating, and coaching.
Yeah. And, Rich, you are one of my go-to people for new tools or new ways to use different tools. And I think part of that is because of your role, working with so many different educators, jumping into classrooms, right? Thinking about all the different people, particularly in our K-12 spaces, that might have a question for you, might want to pick your brain about a tool or something, a problem that they have that they want to solve. And I know I hear this a lot in my work and my travels, and I'm sure you do too. People are looking for things that can help save them time. So when you hear that phrase, save teachers time, we have it in the title of our episode for today. What does that look like in your day-to-day work?
Yeah, so I mean, you hear that all the time, saving time, but to me, it's maybe not about doing things necessarily faster, but it's about reclaiming the hours that I think just get lost. Like you hear the term, I know with a tool like Zoom or other things, you hear the term like friction.
Mhm.
And I think it's about reducing the friction. So doing things like eliminating that blank page. So I know we've all been there, like maybe on a Sunday night watching Sunday night football and
Yeah.
staring at that blank screen when you're trying to draft a new lesson or maybe
Mm-hmm.
write an IEP report. I know you can use something like AI to help kickstart that process. So you at least have that first draft rather than trying to write everything on your own. Some other ways as well, I know, is just like the automation that
Mm-hmm.
actually works. So instead of grading maybe a huge stack of papers, you have some sort of workflow to at least give you that opening draft. Um, but I think the most important thing with saving time is presence, right? So
Mm-hmm.
being there to actually, I guess, offload some of those activities that just end up taking a lot of time, and being able to have that conversation with a struggling student, or maybe being able to relax during a lunch break for 10 or 15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to, feverishly finish what you have to do before the end of the day or before that next class. So I think really it's about, I think, that ultimate gift of repurposing that time, because I think as we move forward, that's going to be one of the main ways that we sustain this profession, is just reclaiming some of those hours and some of that time
Yeah.
in the very short instructional day.
Yeah, I love that framing because I think that's a big part of this, right? Like we are saving time for a reason, right? Maybe that's to save some of that brain capital, right?
Yeah.
So we can reallocate it in other parts of the day. Maybe it's helping with some of the start, that can take up too much time if we don't know exactly where to get started. And today we're talking about low or no cost tech tools that can save teachers time. So let's start with tool number one. What is it, and what specific task does it help you complete faster?
All right. So, what I want to share is ChatGPT for teachers. Now, I know you've
Mm,
been talking about ChatGPT on your podcast for a couple years now, but
yeah.
when I talk about ChatGPT for teachers, it's not just regular ChatGPT. This is a dedicated version that was released a couple months ago, actually,
Hmm.
by ChatGPT. And this is a dedicated FERPA compliant workspace that right now is currently free for any K-12 teacher. Now, that is until June of 2027. So that is something to keep in mind. But the big difference is when you sign up for the free version of ChatGPT, you're limited in terms of how many times you can generate or add your input there. There is a cap on it. You can only do certain things by uploading documents. But the big thing is the privacy, right? With the free
Hmm.
version, you don't necessarily know if that data that you enter is going to be used for training. The other thing is, if you want to pay for ChatGPT, it's going to be $20 a month. So this is something that can potentially save teachers upwards of around $200
Yeah.
using ChatGPT. So I'm sure a lot of people know about a large learning model like a large language model like ChatGPT, but I think the big thing that it handles, number one, is differentiation. So I know in the
Hmm.
past, teachers have spent hours kind of manually rewriting articles for different reading levels. This is something that can now be done within a few clicks. Those ELLs, those English language learners, right? You can take an article and just in one click automatically translate that into a different language. Other things as well. I know someone called this emotional labor of teaching,
Yeah.
right? And that is being able to write that tough email to parents, or
Hmm.
sitting there in front of a screen and thinking about how this sounds. Is this the right tone? Should I be more concise? Is this too long? Well, these are things that you can kind of offload to ChatGPT, and that could kind of help make your life a little bit easier. So I think that that's something that's really powerful. But the other thing, and this is a new feature with ChatGPT, we talked about the data privacy, we
Yeah.
talked about the cost savings, but there's a new feature which is called shared projects. If
Hmm.
you and if like let's say that we're both in the same district, we both have ChatGPT for teachers, we're able to kind of share a project together, and we can both sort of learn together. We can both be on that same um, be on that same basically chat thread. So I think that's one of the big things. We can also create our own custom GPTs as well
Mm-hmm.
for some of those tasks. That's that agent feature that's there. So I know most of the teachers listening now probably have something in their school district, whether it's like Google Gemini or it's Microsoft Copilot. But I really do think there's a big value, whether you just like ChatGPT better, but sometimes I'll run things through, Google Gemini and then run it through ChatGPT as well. So it's just a great feature. This is something that, again, um, something that I've paid for in the
Yeah.
past. And
Mm-hmm.
now, not only are you able to use this for free for about 2 years or so, but it does have that data compliance piece, which I know
Mm-hmm.
was a concern. And obviously, if you're using a tool like ChatGPT, you're going to be conscious not to put personally identifiable information, but you have that safe net as well. So that's definitely a tool that I'd recommend for all teachers to use. There is a verification process, but
Mm-hmm.
it's nothing too crazy. You'd basically just take a screenshot of your school ID. It goes through that process, and then you should be all set after that.
And thank you for differentiating between the two versions, right? Because someone might hear ChatGPT and say, oh, like I know that, or you have to pay for that, right? Or, we're not talking here about the consumer version of this tool. A lot of times in education, we try out consumer version first, and then maybe we find an education use, or it becomes a tool that's like primed for K-12 or has an education vertical. So love that you chose one, right, designed specifically with teachers in mind, even if it may be familiar with a few features, right, for people who
Mm-hmm.
are listening, right, this is going to be a little bit different. Now, what's next and what problem does it solve?
Okay. So my next tool is going to be Notion. So in my daily
Mhm.
role as an instructional technology specialist, I see teachers struggling with juggling so many different platforms. So it's almost like I guess, tab fatigue, right? Because they
Yeah.
have their lesson plans in maybe Microsoft Word or Google Docs. They set up a student tracker in Excel. The bookmarks are in Chrome and Edge, and then maybe they'll have personal notes on uh, I don't know, like a shared folder or maybe even on a physical planner. So I think what Notes does is it kind of helps solve, I'm sorry, what Notion does is it helps
Hmm.
solve that fragmentation problem. It's kind of like an all-in-one workspace, and I think that it can take the place of several different apps. So what it is, to give it a very general use case, is it's kind of like an interactive notebook where you can create separate sections and pages. Now, if you're like have a Microsoft background or if you work in a Microsoft school, you may think, well, isn't that kind of like a tool like OneNote? And
Right.
if you look at it that way, it can be. But I think what Notion does, it allows you several different features. I think it can essentially allow you as a teacher to create your own sort of classroom hub where you have things like your curriculum, you have your standards, you can create a student tracker. And the nice thing about Notion is if you want to share that student tracker with parents or maybe with a colleague, maybe you wouldn't want to share the student tracker, but if you wanted to share some of your curriculum with a colleague from a different school district, there's a really easy way that you can take that page and share it as a URL, almost like a website, right? A simple website. So it takes the mental load of where did I save that, and it kind of allows you to create just that one sort of spot that's there, as well as all of the other interactive notebook. There's also templates that you can create
Hmm.
that are there, which I think will help save you time for your organization. And just like ChatGPT, their Notion does have an educational plan offering. If you go there, you can sign up, and it gives you a lot of really great features and guest access up to 100 people. So you have your centralized dashboard, you've got your reusable templates, the one-click publishing. I think if you haven't tried a tool like Notion right now, it's one that you're really going to find to be helpful.
I love that idea of being able to make something, create something, and share it, right? And you might
Mhm.
have, your who or your audience in mind. Is it students? Is it colleagues, right? Is it families or someone else in your community? So, love that kind of quick sharing piece as well. A quick note from the presenter of today's episode, Jotform. Jotform lets you build a form in minutes. Student survey forms, homework submission forms, online quizzes, and so much more. You can start from scratch, or if you want to get a head start, check out their collection of free form templates designed with teachers, schools, and districts in mind. Learn more about Jotform and how educational institutions can get 30% discount on Jotform Enterprise. Head to their website to learn more. Jotform.com/enterprise/education. Okay, now what's the next one on the list?
So the next one on the list is one you've probably used but haven't heard of before. I'm going to use Google AI Studio. And what
Okay.
this is a website created by Google that's powered by Google Gemini that's initially
Mhm.
for developers that maybe want to try out some of those features and use that on their products. But educators can use this as well. So you've probably heard some of the text to speech features that's like on everything. Now,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
take your phone, copy and paste like a selection of text and use speech selection. On your iPhone or on iOS, it comes back as sort of that monotone, kind of
Mhm.
robotic sort of voice. And even a tool like I know the Immersive Reader, which can be good,
Yeah. Mhm.
that can't differentiate between languages. It's one language and it reads it all in one language. So what Google AI Studio has are much more multilingual and expressive capabilities. So with Google Gemini and Google AI Studio, it has up to 24 different languages. So what you could do is have a 3-paragraph document, right? One is in English, one is in Spanish, let's say one is in French. And as you share, Google AI Studio is now going to allow you to take that text. It will read it in a voice that sounds expressive, that
Mhm.
pauses and breathes. And just like how you can create your own sort of, just like your own chat prompt, you can actually direct how you want the voice to sound. So you can ask it to sound like an expert. You can ask it to sound in a warm and
Mhm.
friendly voice like a teacher. But once it reads that text, it's going to be able to identify this is English, this is Spanish, this is French, and it will speak in each distinctive accent. So I feel that this has a lot of power, not only for our ELL students, but
Mhm.
also for our students who may just need something, audio directions,
Yeah.
and something that you want to give them in a text to speech that's actually going to sound like a real person. And I know for myself before, I've done this if I have to give a speech or
Yeah.
if I want to prepare for a presentation. I'll just take my notes and copy and paste them. So much of I think, the way that we kind of learn and listen for whether it's entertainment or for understanding is through audio, whether that's a podcast
Mhm.
or whatever. You can actually generate an audio file, download that as an MP3, and then listen to that. And that sometimes is more helpful
Mhm.
than, for me anyways, than rereading a document. You can just hear that in the background as you're driving somewhere. So those are some ways that I do that. So again, it's free with just a Google account. You can go to Google AI Studio and create those audio files. And if you've ever seen Notebook LM and you hear that
Mhm.
two-way conversation, you can actually create a two-way conversation as well. So it's a real powerful tool and one that I think can save teachers a lot of time.
Yeah, and the examples you gave there, I think, really illustrate the why, right? Like, yes, it can help me save time as I address, right, these specific goals that I have, making something more accessible for students, having something in a particular language for students, helping with, study skills, or helping you, right, as a professional learner, right, explore something different. And I'm glad you made that Notebook LM connection, because listeners might be a little more familiar with the audio overviews in Notebook LM, and you can kind of take that experience right into this tool right as you go in and explore.
Mhm.
Now we're heading to the next tool. What is it, and who tends to use this next one the most?
So the next tool is going to be Microsoft Clipchamp. And this is something that I think is used by probably two groups. Number one, teachers who want to kind of clone themselves or clone their instruction,
Mm-hmm.
I should say, or teachers who want to be digital storytellers. So I think for teachers, this is a great tool if you want to create flipped instruction, right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of standing at the board and doing a 15-minute lecture, or if you're out of the building and you want to make sure that your kids still are able to learn the material, or to you want to deliver the material in the way that you want to select, you can do that through Clipchamp. So what Clipchamp is Microsoft's online video editor. I think it's very easy to use. It's not hard to get started. It's free. So if you are a Microsoft, I believe it's an A3 or an A5 school,
Okay.
you're able to get that for free. If you want to sign up at clipchamp.com, all you need is an Outlook or a Hotmail account. But if you're in a Google school who maybe doesn't use Microsoft products, I check with your tech department, because a lot of times, just because of network things, there may be Microsoft license for you, even though you're not actually using it. But what I like about Clipchamp is for creating videos, especially flip videos, is that there is a teleprompter on there. So if you want to put yourself in the video, there is actually a teleprompter that will scroll while you kind of read your voiceover. You just paste your script in there. It scrolls next to the camera and it makes your videos look professional. Now, of course, you don't have to do that, but you can if you want. There's also a screen recording feature as well. So as well as editing videos, you can create your own screen recording if you want to kind of model how to do something on the screen. It's something that I think is pretty easy. Now, the other thing is that there are accessibility features like auto caption. So with one click, the AI is going to generate subtitles, just like you see in a lot of social media. And I know that's real popular with students, not just those students who may have audio processing issues, but students who are like I said, those ELL learners, right? Those are some things, and I think just younger students in general, just from social media, have grown up watching, these videos online, and they see the speech to text. But again, if you want to create something, and this is the other thing that I like, not only creating the video, but publishing that video, right? You don't have to worry about publishing to a third party like YouTube. If you're in a Microsoft school, you can publish that video and you have the same capability for sharing as you would with any of your other documents. So I could create a video and just share it with you, Monica, or I could create a video and say only teachers in my school can see this video. So I think that's one of those things that will help out a lot. So I think that will be something that's kind of big. And again, if you do sign up for the free tier, if you're not able to use it through your school district, Clipchamp has a license that will allow you to export a video in 1080p without a watermark, which I think is pretty big. So whether you've tried Clipchamp before, whether you have access to it through your regular Microsoft 365 license, or if you just want to try it kind of on your own, I think it's one that will save you a lot of time and make some of those challenging things like video editing a little more efficient and something that anyone can do.
That's fantastic. And that's one I have not tried out yet. And I love video. So I'm going to jump in and make sure to take a look at that this year. Because everything you said there, including the subtitles, right? Like from an accessibility standpoint, right? Massive. But then, I know for me, like it's rare that I'm even watching, right? Television, right? Or, a Netflix movie without the subtitles on now. I feel like so many of us have become conditioned to using that additional feature because of our social media experiences. So that's awesome. Okay, now take us to the last one on the list. What is it and why did it earn this final spot?
All right. So I know that you're a big Canva user and many teachers are big Canva users, but there's a feature that I don't think everyone has played around with. And if you haven't, I think this is one that will really help you save time. So it's called Canva Code. It's part of the Canva Magic AI Studio. And I think back in the day, or even now still, but it was more so when I first started 20 years ago, a lot of teachers used Smart Notebook on their smartphones. And one of the reasons why was because, in their gallery, there were so many of these little kind of programs that just did what you kind of wanted them to do and kind of aided the instruction. And over the years, those little things still kind of exist, but they're in different places. You may have to go out to the web to find one and deal with a lot of advertising, or you may go out to the web, but there's no way to kind of save them. So all kinds of issues. But what I like about Canva Code is in the same way that you can generate a text response in ChatGPT, you can do the same with Canva Code. So essentially, you can create your own little program in your presentation or in any Canva design, but let's just say in your Canva presentation, that will kind of help you serve one task. So for an example, I've done something before where there was a lesson on the water cycle, and I could have gone
Mhm.
out to different websites to try to find these interactive simulations. But with Canva Code, I said, hey, can you generate a simulation of the water cycle where when we click different parts of it, you'll see some of those changes. And Canva Code was able to create that. So it was actually pretty good. And what I like about this is, sometimes you'll ask Canva Code to create something for you. It's not quite how you want it, but you can go in and then
Mhm.
ask follow-up prompts to continuously sort of moderate it so that iteration is there. And the best part about some of the new developments in Canva Code is now when you bring your Canva Code program into a design, you can actually go in and modify some of the features just like you could with a regular Canva project. So this is one that I think is really great. If there's ever been an idea that you think, I wish there was something that did this, or I wish there was a way that I
Mhm.
could create an interactive tracker for each individual student, you can do some of those things with Canva Code. So if you haven't tried that yet, you just go to Canva Magic Studio. On the AI tab, you'll see a little button that says Code, and I think that's a great place to get started with Canva Code.
And I love when there are features that may be hidden in a tool that we're already kind of familiar with, right? So if you
Hmm.
have used Canva before, right, this is something that's worth taking a peek at for sure.
Definitely.
So, Rich, this was fantastic. So many great free and low cost tools for us to explore. I'm going to link out all of your info for people to stay connected with you, to follow along with what you share online. But for anyone who's like on the move and listening to this episode and wants to make a mental bookmark, where can people connect with you? Where can they learn more about your work?
Sure. So the best place to find me is at my channel. You can look up EdTech Hustle on YouTube. I'm kind of passionate with making sure that saving time isn't just a theory, but a reality for all
Mhm.
four teachers. And on the site, you can find some deep dive video tutorials for everything that we've discussed today, as well as some other tools. I'm constantly adding new videos a couple times each month, and I try to find some interesting ideas, some deep dives on just kind of like short documentaries as well. So all kinds of things, whether you're an educator or just a tech enthusiast, that I think you'll enjoy at EdTech Hustle. And if you want to contact me at X, I'm just at Richard Colosi.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time today and all of these great recommendations for educators.
Anytime. Thanks, Monica.
It was lots of fun chatting with Rich today. So let's make this EdTech easy with a few key points from today's episode. ChatGPT for Teachers offers free, FERPA compliant AI support through 2027 and helps with differentiation, translation, writing tasks, and more. Notion can streamline planning and organization, while Google AI Studio creates multilingual text to speech audio. Microsoft Clipchamp simplifies video creation with features like a teleprompter, screen recording, and auto captioning. Canva Code allows teachers to generate interactive elements and mini programs directly inside presentations. Now, make sure to follow along with Rich. I will include right here in the show notes, wherever you're listening or watching this podcast, ways to stay connected with Rich and his work. Such a fun conversation today. I can't wait to hear what you think about these 5 low or no cost tools for teachers. A big thank you to Jotform, the presenter of today's episode. To learn more about Jotform and how educational institutions can get a 30% discount on Jotform Enterprise, head to jotform.com/enterprise/education.